Again, to remind you of Bold coming up, training classes, Ignite, market and service your listings with Hollis Fernandez today. Another night class tomorrow, contract to close and post-close systems with Lori Costello of the Larry Garcia team. And systems is the key and operative word there. We should have some systems for closing and post-close, so it's just automatic and you don't have to think too much about it. On Friday, accountability, check with your numbers, Kim Hope. And then on Monday, quick startup. If you have not been to quick startup and you joined Keller Williams within the last 6 months, I would highly recommend going to that. It's a good class. Purchase agreement next week with Stephanie Wright. Lunch and Learn, Google Apps tips and tricks with Jason Garcia. Should be a good class. That's next Tuesday. Bold. Have you signed up yet? No excuse. The first class is free. Please do sign up. I would highly encourage you to go to it. At least commit for yourself and for your business to go to that first class. Doesn't cost anything but your time that day. It'll be well worth it. We have around 80 people that have signed up so far, and we're hoping to reach that 100 mark. We're anticipating reaching that 100 mark, but if you're on the fence, please do sign up for Bold. Very easy to do. If you don't know how to do that, check with Kirsten after the meeting, but it's very simple on those emails you receive every day. From Kirsten. No, excuse me, from Brittany. All right, 155 escrows. Thank you and congratulations. Opened up since May 16th. These are the names of the people that have opened up. As you can see, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. We added another category, or another column here. That was called column? Excel class. And the ones highlighted or the ones bolded, those are the top 11 escrow openers. I just made that up, escrow openers. And this is since May 16th. 155 escrows opened since May 16th. And we choose that date because, of course, that's the start of the Mega Escrows competition or contest that we're having. Or you can win a trip to Austin, Texas for Mega Camp. So, Country Club Mortgage. We have an announcement from Country Club Mortgage.
Do we?
Come on up. Let's make it feel comfortable, you guys. Give me a hand.
All right. Apparently, I'm giving an announcement today. Not a whole lot today. Not much is changing. We did see rates are creeping up. We got an alert to lock just now. So if you have any buyers that are, offers that are getting accepted right now, probably be a good time to get them in and get their loans locked. I don't know if it's a temporary thing. I actually don't even know what is causing it in the market right now, but whenever we get that, it's typically not positive. Everything else, still have down payment assistance. We're doing the low FICO stuff. Send us the business. If I don't ask for it, you can't give it to me, right? Appreciate it.
Very good, thank you. All right, we're gonna welcome our guest speaker, and our guest speaker, without a whole lot of introduction, Eddie Perez is from JC Engineers and Surveyors. He's a civil engineer, and he's gonna talk to you briefly about elevation certificates as well as flood zones. Let's give him a warm hand. Welcome him up, Eddie Perez.
Morning.
Morning.
Some of you, of course, know me. We basically have come out and surveyed some of your clients' properties. Either we talked on the phone or you emailed me or text me. Basically, this is a two-man shop here. Jim Cooper and I, like I said, formed this company 8 years ago. I work for the state, my full-time job. Now this is my other full-time job that has become as a result of us starting our business. Give you a background. Fresno State civil engineering degree, worked for Department of Water Resources, 25 years, still there. I work in floodplain management. I work with FEMA during that time. I know all the rules, the regulations, the criteria that, like I said, that are in place. From that, we established JC Engineering and Surveying. So, with the communities I work with in the NFIP program, Tulare County, unfortunately, had the biggest change when the maps came out, June 16th, 09. 3,500 homes went out, over 9,000 went in the flood zone, okay? So it's a good thing, bad thing. Bad for the homeowners, good for insurance agents, real estate agents, surveyors, engineers, because as a result of Bigger Waters Reformed Act of 2012, mandated FEMA elevation certificate is required for, like I said, when there is a loan in place and the structure is in a FEMA flood zone, to close the loan, flood insurance has to be obtained. In order to get flood insurance through a private, Farmers, State Farm, AAA, Allstate, they're going to want an elevation certificate completed by a licensed land surveyor or civil engineer, okay? So that's where we come into this. The other thing is your clients have a choice. They can go and allow the bank to place flood insurance to close the loan. I highly recommend don't allow them to do that. Banks will, the premium will be 2 to 3 times higher than going to a private, okay? The reason some people will go that route is because they don't have the money up front to pay for the premium, okay, through a private. It could be anywhere depending on the zone, the elevation. Flood insurance can be as cheap as $400. If you're in Riverdale, Layton area, it could be $2,000 or more, okay, a year. So people don't have money to pay up front. The bank says, we'll be kind and gracious, make that part of your PITI and receive 1/12 of that every month. So it's a softer blow for these individuals, but also now they're paying $2,000 to $3,000 when, if they had the money, they could probably pay $900 or $800 with the certificate, okay? So it's a little tidbit there. That's how you can help them. Certificates, like I said, we do a number of them. What they do for your clients is they will reduce the flood insurance premium, as I mentioned. Banks will assess the risk at the highest risk and then, of course, rate it, have a high premium. With an elevation certificate, they go private, they can lower their premium. The other thing we do, we'll do it on job site, is once I got the survey data and information, I can determine if the structure qualifies for removal from the flood zone. Okay, so if it does, I will let you know or advise the client that yes, it qualifies for removal. What that means is that we have determined that the structure is vertically high enough for that specific depth area to be removed from the flood zone, which would then waive the flood insurance requirement, okay? How do you go through that process? There's 3 different types of applications that you can complete. It just depends on the structure, the zone, when it was built, if there was fill placed or not. I would complete the app, I send it to FEMA electronically, and we get either the Loma Lomar letter back from FEMA that removes the structure. I provide this to the client, I provide it to you, whoever needs it. The client or you give it to Country Club Mortgage, let's say if they're the lender. They're requiring the insurance as a condition of the loan. With this, they will remove the flood insurance requirements. Then your client will not have to pay flood insurance, saving them thousands of dollars if you figure over a 30-year term, okay? So with this, like I said, if they qualify, they can get the flood insurance removed. The other thing is cancel the policy that's in place, get reimbursed that money for the current year, okay? You may get a question from a client. I've been paying flood insurance for 10 years. Can I get that money back? No, unfortunately, no. They were covered during all that time. They get only the current year back, either wholly or it's prorated, okay? Best thing though is it's canceled. From that date forward, they wouldn't have to pay. Sometimes what we do is because I get calls. We just found out, Eddie, we're in the flood zone. Okay, great. I locate on Google Earth where the structure is. Oh, did I mention we're closing Friday? That sound familiar? So we run out and get the cert for you. In the meantime, we found out as well they qualify for removal. So we provide the cert, you get the policy in place, okay, close the loan. In the meantime, I've submitted the application to FEMA, and we get the letter after the fact, give it to the client, they can then cancel the policy 2 months later or whatever time it took. and then still cancel the policy and get that money back. So, like I said, there are different ways to do it. There are some apps we can submit to FEMA if they qualify, meet their criteria. We can submit and get the letter within 3 to 5 days. Okay? The only thing about that, basically, link is if I get calls, and of course everybody wants to get removed, I can only submit one app at a time. FEMA also randomly audits me to make sure that we're still meeting their criteria, meeting the format and the way they want things. So if I put one in today, it's audited, it's going to take at most 5 days. The other ones will have to wait. We just wait and wait, and then once I get cleared, I can send the others, and then they'll give me what I call carte blanche. I can get 3 or 4 apps approved instantaneously, and then they'll audit me. It's just kind of random thing. The other link takes 45, 60 days. But still, through it all, the best thing is they get to cancel and they would get reimbursed. The other thing too, if I'm sending an app to FEMA, I can almost guarantee it's going to be removed. I only send applications I know qualify. As I mentioned, with the experience working with FEMA and everything, I know what their criteria is, I know what they look for, I know how to complete the app. So there's no request for additional data. Question?
Yeah, bottom line, what do you charge?
There we go. It varies, as I mentioned earlier. It varies anywhere for like certs, $400 to $600.
That's typically Tulare County, or I mean Visalia?
Tulare County, let's say. And the reason it can vary is because of benchmarks. City has done a great job in having a benchmark circuit available through the city. Generally within the city, we do it for $400. If I'm in the county, it's going to be more because benchmarks are far and few between. We got to bring in a benchmark or an elevation if we have to, a mile away or more. It takes more time and more work. The other thing is though too, what we'll do is, like I said, you give me your information, the address of where the property is located. I'll do the research, see what work we've done. If not, I can pull up on FEMA's websites the LOMA apps that have been issued, okay, or maybe ones that we've received, and I can tell you, you know what, we did work on that street, 2 houses over, we removed a client, so I think possibly this one would qualify for removal. So then what we'll do is give you a price for the survey and an EC. In addition, if they qualify, we will do the application for either additional $100 or $200. It may vary. Or if you've got a couple of clients and stuff, and they want to go in together, we can definitely give a better price, because now we can bundle 2 or 3 together, and so then everybody benefits from it. Because once I'm out there, and if they're on the same street or a couple streets over, it doesn't take long for us to do the work that we need to do to get the information.
So you're saying that many times you could, before someone pays for it, you can give a good idea as to whether it's going to, you're going to be able to remove it?
Yeah, based on either what we've done in the past or what information is available. And I know everybody wants to get out. They want to get out of the flood zone. We try our best to get them out, but there are some that we can't. Some of the older homes that are built either on a crawl space foundation or they're just slab on grade, they're not elevated high enough. So therefore, unfortunately, it is what it is. The grade elevation and the floor level are too low for that depth or base flood elevation. So we'll provide a cert, but yet we let them know that, you know what, it's probably not going to help you, unfortunately, in this situation. And it's probably because it's a home that was built in the 40s or the 50s or something like that. Question?
Eddie, Barbara Ellis. I think he is great. I mean, he's helped me out in so many situations, so.
It's finally nice to meet you.
Yeah, fine.
Eddie, Wayne Butterfield, same
Yes,
here.
sir. We have met in the past. Thank you.
So it's 4 to 6 just to do the elevation certificate, another 100 to 200 to do the FEMA.
Yes, it can be. Others we've done package basically where I've done the survey and the application for 400 or 500, and Wayne will attest to that, and so will Barbara.
Numerous times.
It sounds like if you have something in the city, it's going to be about $400.
Correct.
Something that
county
What's
or.
the-
It's
Well,
more,
that's to
it
do the
varies.
flood, but then the send the certificate
Yeah.
in is more, right?
But we've done generally, like I said, what I call, we'll do the certs, with the apps, we'll do them anywhere from 400 to 500 together.
Okay.
Sometimes clients say, hey, I qualify, I don't need the certificate because this is gonna trump the certificate, just get me out. Okay,
Right.
so then we'll go ahead and complete the app, and we get that, and I give it to Wayne or Barbara, whoever needs it. And so, the other thing too is, when your clients get these letters, highly recommend they keep a copy, okay? Because what happens is, let's say they go through Country Club and the loans are sold, and another mortgage company picks it up, and let's say I'm with Wells Fargo or whoever, I buy these loans, guess what? I locate and identify where these structures are. Mass mail distribution goes to these clients again. You have been identified in special flood hazard, please provide us a policy in 45 days. If not, we'll be kind and gracious to self-place it 2 to 3 times higher. They got the copy of the letter, give a copy to the new blender, issue goes away. The other thing too is your clients, they have this. This is worth something. So they could actually recoup what they paid if they want to sell it to the new buyers. And stuff, say, we got this, we can either sell it or be kind and gracious and give it to you, because that's going to help, especially right now, what we're seeing, the economy's coming back up. Of course, you're selling homes, but there are people out there that are just qualifying as well to buy a home. And then you find out about this, and that adds to the payment. And sometimes we're finding that this is the one issue that basically is a stickler for them, because they can't qualify for the insurance, so then, you're not going to be able to make that sale. So,
What counties do you cover, and did you bring cards?
yes. We've gone as far as LA County, and we've gone up to San Mateo. We'll go anywhere, it just depends. Bay Area or Southern Cal, but of course, obviously, the quotes are higher down there. And they're willing to put me up for the night to travel. And if it's by an outlet, the wife is happy. I gotta limit her on that.
Eddie, are you familiar at all with the post-firm letters for the houses that were not originally in the flood zone, and then after 2009 they were moved into the flood zone, and do those still work?
Yes, there are those letters you hear. I know City of Visalia, the engineering department, Jason Huckleberry is overseeing the floodplain management program for the city. You've got great staff here. City of Visalia is, like I said, when this came about, they were very proactive in putting information on the website, contacts. I know there's a list of consultants. We're not on it, but hey, it's okay. But they are very knowledgeable, and like I said, if they have questions and stuff, I'm the state contact for them. So they would contact me. But yes, what she's talking about is basically a home that was built before June 16th, 09 was not in the flood zone. Let's say over here, I'll give you a subdivision, Shirk and Hurley. You got those homes, very nice homes, fairly new. They were not in the flood zone, but now they are. So what they can do is verify, yes, they were not under the map that was in effect at the time. They will issue a letter citing that. And basically then what they can do is they qualify for what we call grandfather rate or preferred risk policy, PRP, okay? But under Bigger Waters, 2012, they were going to do away with grandfather and the PRPs. But because the change took place nationwide, Obama, of course, listened to the people and signed this year the Housing Affordability Act. Basically, they're making changes again to the rates, but grandfather and PRP are to stay for a certain amount of time. I think what's going to happen is basically those are going to go off into the sunset within a couple of years. Then people will not be able to qualify anymore for the 400, 450 policy. They're going to have to then get ECs and be rated as in a zone 8E. So then, so there are other changes. Like I said, it took place with the rates. Basically, they're affecting the older homes, the pre-firm structures. Under BW12, the rates were to increase 25% each year until they actually get to the actuary rates. So I had a client in Merced, pre-firm structure, crawl space foundation. He was paying already about $1,800 a year. I calced out, okay, 4 years, you're going to be at almost $3,900 for flood. Okay, he couldn't get out. We got a cert, got him down to $380. Okay, so he was, of course, tickled pink. That's a lot easier policy to manage and to handle and stuff. So that's what we do. I have cards. I don't know if we want to hand them out or we want to put them on the table.
We'll have them available.
And so, any other?
One last question.
Do you know, and maybe you don't know, but with those changes, it used to be the maximum coverage was 250,000. You'd have to get coverage for 250 if your house was worth more. You still just had to do 250. But I've heard that's going to be changing or has changed. Is that the case? Is that going to change?
It's still 250,000 for residential, non-residential, like the commercial business system. It's 500,000. They've talked about raising those up and stuff. I think to residential to $500,000, and commercial I think $1 million. But right now it's still 250 and $500,000. For the big homes, residential homes, let's say like the lakes, okay, the property's there, of course, worth more than 250. They'd have to get an umbrella coverage or something if they want to cover the remaining balance. And real quick, all the properties in the lake qualify to get out. That's what I call a no-brainer. We've done a number of homes. On the west side of that subdivision, on Robin, they're 3 feet above the flood level. By the time you come to acres, they're 1 foot above. Why they're in, I'm not sure, but it's the way the map is. So, any other questions? I'll be here afterwards.
Eddie will be around for afterwards for a little bit if you guys have additional questions. But let's give him a hand. Next up. Good information for real estate agents, right? Before we go to the broker 60 seconds, I just wanted to recognize a couple of agents in our office. We, of course, are working every month to cap, and as we cap, we want to make sure that we recognize them that do that. And this month, we have a couple of agents that capped. One of them is Ed Morton. Congratulations. Absolutely. Oh, she is. Okay. All right. We're going to move to the broker 60 seconds. Troy Guy.
Yay!
Woo! This is dangerous.
Okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make this a 2 or 3 part because it's that exciting. So for the next couple of weeks, I'm gonna be covering it, but it is kind of important and kind of obscure, and that is FERPTA. Do you guys know what FERPTA stands for? Kevin's gonna give $10 to anybody who knows what FERPTA stands for. Okay, that's out of culture. I'm not supposed to commit the team leader's money without his prior consent. FERPTA, what is it? What's it an acronym for? Good. Foreign Investment in Real Property Tax Act. So very fun. So there's a Cal FERPTA and there's a FERPTA. They mentioned this at Franchise Systems Orientation, and so I had Christy look it up. But that is that in 2013 there was a 13% increase in foreign investments in the United States. In 2014 already we've surpassed the increased amount that we had in all of 2013. So we're going to be coming across this quite a bit. Foreign Investments in Real Property Tax Act. Now, how it impacts you is that you are required, if you are the buyer's agent. So this is where the law was written a little squirrely, because as a buyer's agent, you and your client are responsible for withholding for something that the seller is claiming or maybe not claiming. Does that make sense? So in other words, in order to protect you as the buyer, you have to know if the seller is a foreigner, okay? And there's a lot of different, they can have a green card and not be considered a foreigner, okay? That's literally in the tax law. So anyhow, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting the FERPTA, because Cal FERPTA is collected, by the way, that form and is provided by all the escrow companies. Okay. Now the FERPTA, the federal FERPTA, not just the Cal FERPTA, but the federal form is not collected by escrow companies because it's not written in the law that they have to. Okay, Cal FERPTA is. So we're basically hanging out there if we purchase a house over or a property over $300,000, that we are 10% of it has to be withheld. So if you're selling a $350,000 fourplex, your client could be on the line for $35,000 that needs to be sent to the IRS because they didn't collect the seller's information, seller's affidavit of non-foreign status exemption.
Wow.
Okay, so which of course, if your buyer all of a sudden finds out that they are on the hook for $35,000 that they were supposed to withhold from the seller's proceeds, and they're going to come talking to you, right? So. As a side note, that will be on your list of required forms. Main Street Escrow is collecting that form on your behalf. So know that Main Street Escrow is collecting the form. If you're using an escrow company other than Main Street Escrow, find out if they're collecting it. Ask them to collect it for you, okay? Because we don't have any guarantees that all the escrow companies are collecting the FERPTA form. Does that make
I
sense?
mean, from the seller?
From the seller, that's right. Because where it gets a little dicey is that as a buyer's agent, you're now saying, I need the seller's affidavit of non-foreign status, which I need you to provide me, the seller, not my client, but the seller's social security number for my buyer. Okay, right? Yeah, exactly. It gets a little dicey because now I'm asking somebody else's client to provide me with their personal information for my client to decide whether or not money is going to be withheld from their proceeds to be sent to the IRS within 20 days. Okay, does that make sense? So it's important. We want to take the liability off you as agents. It will be on there as a required form, but we want to take the liability off of you. So we're putting it in there as a reminder that if you are not using Main Street Escrow, make sure and ask your escrow company if they are providing the form. Okay? I think I've used it about 58, 59, 60. Go fight sell. Yes.
Does the social security number need to be on the form?
Yes. In fact, I've got part 2. We'll go over some of the Q&A. But yes, it does. It has to be on the form. Yeah, there's all sorts of fun stuff I didn't even know I needed to know right here. But part 2, just wait for next week. It'll be really exciting.
Thank you, Troy. Happy birthday to everyone that has a birthday starting tomorrow through the next week. We have Suzette and Veronica and Sandy. Sandy's here, and Joe and Vincent. So happy birthday to all of you. Culture Minute. Raina? Where's Raina?
Right here.
Raina, you're up.
Go, Raina.
Okay, I was asked to read number 5 and talk about it, which number 5 on our culture list is doing something right without wanting to be recognized or acknowledged for it. I felt it was pretty self-explanatory, but I had to put a little thought into it. So I felt, and me, with what I've done, and I'm a newbie, so if I do the best for my client and know that I walk away from a transaction getting the best price, being there at late night when they call me, holding their hand through things that they don't understand, I walk away with self-satisfaction. I don't need the awards or the accolades, though they're nice. I don't have to have them like some of the people that we work with. I'm just kidding. Connie loves her award. She loves her award. You knew I was doing it.
That might be a difference in the
As far as acknowledgement, sorry, Connie.
You just sit up front.
You get to do number 6 next week. As far as acknowledgement, if my clients, and I'm new, so I don't have this yet, if they come back to me in 2 years, 5 years and say, hey, Raina, come help me buy a new home, sell my home, that is the ultimate acknowledgement. That's how I related that, number 5, to selling real estate. There's your culture minute.
Thank you, Raina. We do have all 34 culture items up here on the board. Okay, lessons learned. Anybody have any? I know you guys have been thinking about them this week since we've started this. Any lessons learned, recognizing mistakes that you can share with the group? We'll take one or two at the most.
Pertaining to real estate?
Anything.
Yeah, really life.
Pertaining to real estate would be preferred.
No, you've had a minute. Sit down.
I changed seats. I learned something. I called Jay Pete. He was our speaker last week on the 1031 exchanges because I have someone that is selling a property at the coast and wanting to buy multiple units over here. So what I found out, and some of you that do this more often may already know this, but what I found out was that if that is a vacation home that they're selling at the coast, well, first of all, if they're selling a single-family residence at the coast, they can absolutely transfer the money into property here. It doesn't have to be exactly the same type of property. Like kind just means property. But if it was a vacation home, in other words, they used it as their vacation home, they didn't rent it out, and there's a certain percentage, then they cannot exchange it for investment property here.
Because they use it as a personal residence.
Because they used it as a personal residence. Also, then after I was trying to find my text from him, but at the end, this is more of filling buckets. But he said, Troy, I've worked with and around a lot of the Keller Williams from the Central Coast all the way over to Fresno and south, and he said, you guys have culturally, I could feel the energy you guys had in your office. And talking to people that you all seemed so helpful and wanted to help each other out. And so anyhow, he gave us a huge compliment as far as for our office. He was like, wow, you guys are really the pinnacle of what KW culture is about. Despite what Raymond. No.
Any other lessons learned?
Yeah.
Any other lessons learned? We have, okay, buckets, any buckets to fill, success stories? Danny.
I want to fill Paul Destridge's bucket because his amazing sign that he uses for his open house, and he shared it with everybody, and I got mine, and I'm so excited. I still haven't used it yet, but it's sitting in my office ready to go. But thank you for sharing that information. It's very helpful.
It's ready to be used, right? Thanks, Danny. Any other success stories or fill the buckets, buyers' wants and needs? You guys are quiet today. Yes.
I have a bucket to fill with Stephanie and Terry. They came across Spanish-only speaking clients, and they referred them to me. We got 2 contracts.
Very good. Very good. Any other success stories? Fill the bucket. Buyers' wants and needs. Judy, you have, yes, go ahead.
I have HMO needs. I've got tickets for sale for the dinner tomorrow night. So I want everyone to get their tickets, okay? Okay, all right, okay. Okay, so don't forget, okay, I'll be coming after you.
And I'll be there serving.
Yes, yes.
So if you want to see me with spaghetti on my white shirt,
Be there.
Be there.
Come on, it will be a really fun evening. So Heather, do you have something to say about that? Heather's got tickets too. So does Ed.
I'm going to fill your bucket. I thought I was pretty good at my job and I like doing sales, but you are ruthless. She's not kidding.
Ruthless. By ruthless,
I
relentless.
just watched her, ruthless and relentless. I just watched her borderline bully these 2 poor women. Buy your tickets or she will stalk you.
He stopped him in their shirt and said, give me $20.
We didn't do it. It didn't work. You should have saw her at Thirsty Thursday. At the end.
Are we still on culture?
Of course, I don't know if PP was real happy with me, but we got
It
the
is
job
going to
done.
be a great event. We've got a big wine raffle that we're doing. Great food. You can get it to go. You don't have to come in and eat.
Yes.
It's going to be a great event. But seriously, buy your tickets for her.
Yes.
Or me. I'm nicer.
I bought mine from Ed, and I'm feeling guilty that I didn't buy it from her.
I just bought a couple more. So good.
She's good.
Any others? Success stories, fill the buckets. Anything else? I don't want to leave anyone out. Yes.
I have a general question. Does anybody know anybody or company that does attic installation?
I do.
Great question. Yeah, I need that too.
Ask Gene after the meeting. Very good. Anything else before we go to tour? Judy, do you want to tell us about the home that you have on tour?
Is it a tutor?
It could be on tour.
It's a two-door.
Oh, okay.
It's a two-door. With wheels.
It's at 949 West Evergreen off of Sowell. You can get there either like going down Court to Evans, or Beach that turns into Evans, and down Sowell, or to Whitendale and come back. It's the first street off of Whitendale and Sowell. It had new paint and carpet through most of it. They tried to match the carpet that was almost new in there. Still needs a little updating, has a beautiful large backyard. We need to sell it. The gentleman died last week and the family wants to get it going.
How much?
179.5, it's 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, about 1,600 square feet.
Awesome. Judy, thank you. Thank you all for being here. Eddie is still here. Don't forget to sign up for a bowl.
And I'll be there in
You
about
guys
10
have a great
minutes.
day.